What if you could stay awake? Albrecht Entrati was a pioneering Arcan scientist, arguably the most advanced mind of its era when it came to the study of the void. His writings, hidden beneath Deimos in long-abandoned laboratories, revealed a man who didn't just observe the void, he feared it, respected it, and quite possibly communicated with it. Entrati was the architect behind many of the Arcan's late-stage ambitions, including but not limited to the foundations of void travel theory, which we'll be focusing in this theory, so stick around, and the creation of Necromax, an autonomous war machine built to resist sentient and void anomalies. But despite everything Entrati had built, all the tampering and breakthroughs, there was one problem he could not solve. Something was watching him. In his deepest void excursions, he recorded the presence of a consciousness, an entity, a force. He called it the man in the wall. But we'll come back to him. Let's talk about the Duviri Paradox. Duviri, as it's known today through modern records and first-hand observations, is a non-linear dream space. In simpler terms, it means that reality in Duviri doesn't follow a straight line. Things don't always happen step by step. Instead, things can suddenly shift, overlap, or even loop. Multiple possibilities happening all at once, or none at all. Yeah, I know, it's a lot, but that's what happens when you're dealing with a pocket dimension inside of the void, and that is exactly what first intrigued Entrati. Now back to Duviri. Inside this realm, we observed shifting emotional spirals: joy, anger, sorrow, fear. These spirals and the landscapes that change with them are influenced by the mood of Duviri's ruler, the so-called Dominus Thrax. We also see an alternate version of the Tenno known as the Drifter living inside of this world, trying to understand it and eventually escape it. And yes, he does escape at some point, but more on that later. In Duviri, death is inconsequential, memory is fractured, events loop endlessly. It feels like the place is more like a simulation, something very similar to the 1999 loop we see later in Warframe's story. So what is the Duviri Paradox really? Most believe it's a construct formed from Tenno trauma after the Zariman incident, shaped by the emotional residue of the void-touched children. But in my research, and based on the fragmented evidence we've collected, I believe that it's just the surface of something much deeper. And that leads us to my theory, one I teased in my last video. Today, I'm gonna break it down fully, piece by piece. So if you agree with the theory I'm about to uncover, hit that like button and comment down below. It's always Entrati. Let's dive in. I will go over 4 claims, starting with number 1. Duviri was not an accident, but rather designed. While Duviri reacts to Tenno emotions, it was never fully created by them. Instead, it's a preceded structure, kind of a void vessel waiting to be filled with consciousness. I believe the structure was built, or at least triggered, by Albrecht Entrati himself, long before the Zariman ever crossed the threshold. He predicted that void-touched children, emotionally unstable but unimaginably powerful, would be able to shape the realm structure. But shaping isn't creating. He built the sandbox, and the Tenno filled it with sand. That brings me to claim number 2. The man in the wall is the void's resistance. The man in the wall isn't a god. He is not a demon. He's not a sentient in any way that we would understand. He is a force, a manifestation of void entropy, the chaos that resists identity, structure, and will. To strong minds, he appears as a mirror, a parasite, or even a challenge. To Albrecht, he was a threat, the one thing preventing humanity from using the void as a reliable path forward. The man in the wall is to the void what gravity is to matter. Not evil, just inevitable. And every interaction we see with the Tenno or the Drifter follows the same pattern: testing, mirroring, destabilizing. This rolls down to claim number 3. The Drifter is Entrati's endgame. The Drifter is not just a different version of the Tenno. He is Entrati's experiment made flesh. His presence in Duviri is no accident, it's proof of concept. A mind capable of surviving the paradox, navigating the dream, and staying lucid. While others lose themselves to the void, the Drifter remembers. While others obey the spiral, the Drifter questions it. Just like in a lucid dream, awareness gives the dreamer limited control and full navigation. That is the Drifter's true gift, and the real reason Entrati created Duviri in the first place. And that brings me to claim number 4, and the question, why go through all this trouble? Well, the true goal was the Tao. Because travel to the Tau system isn't possible while the man in the wall remains unchallenged, the void corrupts all those who pass through it, except those who can resist. Not only brute force, but through lucidity. If someone could travel through the void like a lucid dreamer through a nightmare, aware, grounded, intact, they could finally reach the Tau, untainted. And that is Entrati's true goal. Not war, not conquest, safe passage. Duviri is the dream. The drifter is the dreamer. The void is the nightmare. And Albrecht Entrati is the one who dared to ask, what if you could stay awake? If you enjoyed this little theory, let me know in the comment section down below and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what we are doing right here. If you don't agree with me, however, also let me know in the comment section down below and we can actually chat it out and let me know where I went wrong if you have found that it is, well, wrong. In case, with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Go check out the video on your screen right now and I'll leave you with one last question, and that is, do you wanna play?